So I got a good one for you. I'm just trying to put some dots together. Just hear me out. It's a theory. I'm not saying it's correct. It's just a theory. But based on some things we learn, sometimes we start to connect some dots. So we know that the parasites, there's a lot of parasites inside human beings that are more active with the moon, different moon phases, the new moon and the full moon. And when you detoxify your body, you start to become akin to that. You start to see that. I know when it's a new moon or full moon without looking at the moon because I start to get cravings for certain foods. So these parasites make you crave foods that are not or bad for you, that keep you and your consciousness suppressed and your physical body suppressed. So the moon affects parasites, which make the dominant species who is enslaved slaves to eat garbage, right? And now the theory is also that the moon, it's a space station. A lot of people have come to this conclusion. The moon is a space station basically placed there, precisely there on purpose, and tidal locked with the Earth. So, and it can be used to suppress consciousness and control the people on it, right? So how do you get a race of people, of the human beings, to eat the food they're supposed to eat? I don't know why I'm still doing this with my finger. How do you get human beings to eat the food that they're not supposed to eat, to purposely suppress their consciousness and have self-population control? How do you get them to eat those foods? You have parasites that make them want to eat it. And everybody's got them and they spread easy. I mean, it's a theory, right? They can make them. Why not? All these advanced races. You don't think these advanced races have been around for probably millions of years and know how to take over a planet and trick people like that? They know what to do. Come on. You know what I mean? And so why couldn't there be a parasite specifically that works on humans? It's possible. You know what I mean? You can put some dots together. They're trying to suppress us, and food is the number one suppressor of human consciousness. Food is the number one suppressor. It's like the foundation of the whole system, because when you stop eating the foods that they tell you to eat, basically if you see a commercial or something, or someone in a movie eating something, you're probably not supposed to eat it. And it's there on purpose. It's there on purpose. It's part of the programming. The food programming and the toxic food system, that's how you control people. You make them want to eat stuff that specifically affects them and suppresses them in certain ways that make them easy to control and subjugate. Does that make sense? Let me know what you think of this theory in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And I just made a video earlier today about, what did I make a video about? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. Was it the moon? No, it wasn't the moon. What did I make a video about? See, I forgot already. I'm trying to stay in the present moment. Oh, that's why. Yeah. Or, yeah, you know, I smoked a little bit of something. But that's okay. You got to do what you got to do in the present moment. You know what I mean? So think about that. Think about in terms of controlling. If you were an advanced race and in the most subtle way, you could impact basically people's lives and free will. Would be slipping in through something like that, slipping in the back door. You got the moon there. I've heard some crazy accounts recently of what happened in the real moon landing. A lot of people think it's fake. You know what I mean? Now you got some people who are there basically, or who was on the mission, if it was real, right? Saying there was spacecraft on the moon. There's spacecraft on the moon waiting for them. This is just more evidence that it's a space station. There was, one guy said there was like 7 reptilian ships and like hundreds of reptilians. I think this guy was on like the mission control or something for the mission on the moon. He said there was reptilians on the moon, hundreds of them, I think, or thousands. I don't know, might have been thousands. It was like hundreds at least, flipping them off. That's wild. And then Dr. Steve Greer recently was saying how Buzz Aldrin said there was 5 ships. So there's some agreement that there's lots of ships on the moon, which means they're monitoring what you're doing. You don't think they control the moon once you get there? Like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. Well, now you know what's going on, isn't it? It's nuts to think about how there's beings in space stations, multi-level space stations probably. There's beings in the moon. that are watching us like a reality show. We are a reality show. They're watching us be tricked by the systems that are purposely designed and structured and designated to trick us. And so that we never find out there's anybody on the moon or on Mars, and there was beings living on Mars who knows how long ago, and they had wars. They could have had nuclear wars. A lot of this information is found in many different places. This isn't just a lot of this isn't theory, you know what I mean? It's like based on evidence, which is nuts. So how do we get out of this control? Well, again, it's all basically a game of consciousness. What and a karma, really? I mean, even what other beings watching us are doing is all part of the game of karma. No, karma is not just human beings; it's every living thing in the universe. So you have other races of sentient beings. A lot of them are humanoid. You know, some of them are not. But I mean, there's a lot of races out there. You know what I mean? A lot of them have been doing this for a long time. So there's a lot to take in. You know what I mean? Don't overload on it though. You're gonna get your brain blasted. Even though I just gave you a doozy of a theory, you know, you don't want to stress yourself out and get yourself too off balance, because I've done that before. It's an easy rabbit hole if you haven't been down some of these. But that's just a theory I wanted to spin by you guys. Let me know what you think. Thank you for sharing a few moments with me. Let's focus on, well, really the only thing to do, which is stay present as much as possible, and purify the temple. That's it. That's how we raise our consciousness. And then remember, the greatest way we can help others is to work on ourselves. The greatest way. So, one of the number one focuses we want to have on the spiritual journey of awakening, is staying present and purification, because that brings you in line with the divine. And funny enough, staying present helps tremendously with purification, especially eating habits. I've noticed this tremendously. When I stay super present, more time, you know, obviously it's a roller coaster. It's a practice. You're trying to get better at it. When I stay super present, it's easier for me to not eat garbage food. The cravings don't have as large of an impact. And I think that's for a few reasons, but one of the main ones is you're not allowing yourself to think. A lot of times when you have a craving, you'll start thinking about the food with your thoughts, and then you can't stop thinking about it until you have it. Some piece of garbage you're not trying to eat, right? But if you stop thinking, you start to observe the feelings inside of you, like cravings or different feelings, and just observing them, because you're not thinking about them. So you're not thinking about the food. You're just saying, oh, that feels funny. But if you're thinking, you'd say, oh, that feels funny. I really want to eat it. I really want to eat a quesadilla. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. It's crazy. Because if you don't think about that, if you don't think about it, you're good most of the time. And obviously, you got to do parasite cleanses. I've done so many of them. But I'm back on it. I've upped it, guys. You got to cleanse those parasites. Let's go back to the beginning of the video. The parasites are active with the moon cycles. I can tell this. It's nuts. Just because I know they act up. And I'm like, oh, new moon, full moon. It's crazy. So we got to hit them. We got to hit them hard. Get some herbs. Get the parasite herbs. Black walnut hull, wormwood, and clove is a good combo. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones that will help as well. But you just get on some of those herbs. Take them for a while. Man, you might have to take them for a few months, honestly. It's not medical advice. I'm just saying, do your research. Educate yourself. Get on them. You'll notice a difference. I'm sure you will after a while. You'll see stuff come out in your stool. You'll see, I've seen some stuff come out in my stool. A lot of eggs. A lot of like these orange eggs. A lot of them. And they keep coming out, even after doing many parasite cleanses. So it's like, how many do you have? And are they still breeding? You know what I mean? I've had some worm-looking things come out. I mean, sometimes it takes a long time for them to come out. So think of how long they're up in you. And think about the fact that everybody has them. Everybody has them. It's nuts. It's nuts. It just goes, it keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. At the same time, we're trying to stop thinking. We stop thinking and we make more connections. Isn't that wild? The more present we are, the more we're able to see and accept and implement the truth in the present moment. The more present we are. That's it. Today was a rough day for me. I was overthinking. My banger was cranking. My banger was cranking. You know what I mean? Going hard in the paint. And I just kept reminding myself, it doesn't matter. What do you even think of anything for? Like, whatever you're thinking of doesn't matter, because you're just going to try to be present in the moment you're thinking of anyway. Right? So if you're trying to make a plan and stay present, they're kind of counterproductive in a sense. Not that you can't ever make plans. Like, you know, this is just, you got to fit it around the blocks. I don't know if that's an expression. And you just gotta, you know, you gotta make it work. I don't even know where I was going with that, but it's a wild ride. You gotta detox your body. That's it. That's it. Everybody does. Full of acids. Gotta get the parasites out. Gotta get them eating. And you'll notice what's wild. I mean, it's back to what the parasites do. When you get the more parasites out, when you get cleaner, you crave bad food less. It's like, that's weird. I was specifically craving the shittiest food that destroys me in every possible way when the parasites were in me, but when they're out of me, I eat the exact foods I'm supposed to eat to raise my consciousness and connect me with the eternal love of God. You know what I mean? That's why food is such a big deal. Obviously, there's enlightened beings who didn't have a perfect diet, but generally, you know what I mean? Purification is basically part of the program for pretty much everybody. That's a very big, prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting, which I think I recently saw Disney bought the rights to the Bible and took out a part about prayer and fasting, like beats the devil or something. It's crazy. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying I saw it. But prayer and fasting, you know what I mean? That'll get you a lot. Fasting regenerates the body. One of the easiest ways to regenerate the body. Water fasting. People heal themselves with amazing things. Water fasting. 30, 60 more days. People have done some pretty long water fasts. I highly encourage you, if you're not familiar with it, to listen up to some stuff on water fasting. Watch some interviews. Fasting Can Save Your Life by Herbert Shelton is an excellent book. They have an audiobook on YouTube. It's awesome. The AI, I think it's an AI narrator. If anybody's familiar with the dad from Gilmore Girls, which my wife watches before, he does the voice. It's an excellent book on water fasting and how basically our body literally can heal itself of all these terrible things. You got to stop putting shit in there that don't belong in there and clogging it up. That's all you got to do. That's it. But we don't know. We've been misled by what we're supposed to eat, the true diet for humans. We've been misled. You got all these medical doctors on YouTube saying that avoid fruit because it's got too much sugar and it gives you a fatty liver. And people are like, yep, okay, she looks legit. I believe that. You know what I mean? It's like, that's insane. They're literally telling you, and they've programmed at such a high level. Think about that too. They programmed at such a high level the medical system that you got the doctors that people trust with their health telling you not to eat the correct foods and to eat the wrong foods that make it so their business never ends. Wild stuff. It's wild stuff. It just keeps going. Everything's connected. The entertainment industry, that's one of their most powerful tools. That's one of their most powerful tools, programming. You take out a TV, you take TV out, you take the processed foods out, you know what I mean? They got no control without TV. People are going to realize what a programming and detrimental device the TV is en masse, hopefully soon, or maybe it's more of a trickle. I stopped watching TV and movies and playing video games pretty much completely, and for a while, because at a certain point on your journey of awakening, you realize it's all just meaningless chatter to distract you. And if you're distracted, you're not focusing on staying present. You could be distracted, I guess, and stay present, but you're usually not focused on that or improving yourself through purification somehow. Like if you're watching TV instead of meditating, or if you could be watching TV or playing video games instead of, lots of things, studying up, educating yourself. You know what I mean? Staying present. It doesn't even matter as long as you stay present, right? And when we open ourselves up, you stay present, you're standing in the center of the circle because you're not thinking and giving bias to things. So when you stay present, that's where you want to be, in the center of the circle. You have no biases, you have no opinions. Well, Ram Dass has a saying from the third Chinese patriarch, he said it was from. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, if you have no opinions, then the great way is easy, or something like that, right? If you have no opinions, then the great way is easy. It's like, oh, so you gotta, yeah, if you're not thinking, you have no opinions, you're good, man. That's a place to be. That's like, I think that's the first line, or one of them. So it's pretty important. So it's all about staying right here, right now. It doesn't matter. Nothing's your fault. You know what I mean? So that's how you got to treat life. Like that monk. The monk, another Ram Dass story I enjoy is, you guys might like this one. It's about, this is it loosely, because I haven't it's not like I memorized or anything. But this is a story he tells out of something, I presume a book. There was a woman who had a baby by a fisherman, but she didn't want to get the fisherman in trouble. So she said it was a monk's baby. And so the townspeople took the baby up to the monk and gave it to the monk. And they said, listen, this is your baby. You had it with that girl down there. Now you got to raise him. You got to take care of him. And the monk goes, so. He's just taking it. He's rolling with it, man. So. And he does it. He doesn't fight it. He's not fighting the flow. He's with it in the present moment. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He's not even going to argue it. He's so in the present moment. And then like 9 years later, the woman's about to die. And she goes, oh, I can't have this guilt on my conscience. So they go up to, she tells him, oh, it was the fisherman's baby. It wasn't the monk's. Go get my kid. So they go up and they say, oh, they knock on the monastery door. They say, oh, we're so sorry. Yeah, turns out that, who down in the village, she lied to us. We're sorry. We'll take that 9-year-old you've been raising and, his whole life and you've been living with exclusively and probably are very close to. We're going to take him back. And the monk goes, so. No attachment. Think about that. No attachment. If you're just going to, he doesn't let his emotions create attachments. So he's able to ride the present moment wave hard. He's on a surfboard and he's going hard. You know what I mean? He is just surfing and he ain't looking back. He ain't falling off. He's done falling off. This guy surfs so much that he doesn't fall off anymore. He's always riding the wave, man. It doesn't matter. No attachments. No one, no people, no thing. He's so free. Think of how free you are. This is all just motivation for us. Like, who am I talking to? I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to you. We're both the same. These are videos. Remember, I said these videos are as much for me as for anybody else. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to coalesce two different mediums and parts of our reality to get a better understanding yourself. And sometimes we got to teach, learn, teach, like they say in the law of one. Is very important. We're either learning or we're teaching what we learned, or just talking about our experiences and knowing that there's always something that can help others from wherever you are at your experience. If you're thinking about making videos or something that expresses your experience, do it up. Be honest, try to be, stay true to yourself and try to stay in the heart. try to channel the divine. I usually ask for divine guidance before my videos. That helps. If you're on the spiritual path and you're trying to share something, share it up. You'll help somebody. That's. I mean, we're not doing it for the result anyway, right? I'm not doing this for the result. I don't even care. I'm just doing it as a calling to make these videos and trying to teach myself something, right? It's a message to myself. It's a message to my lovely friends, right? That's all. Don't be hard on yourself. Forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. There's no such thing as a missed opportunity. There's no such thing. I'm just combining a bunch of stuff I thought of, actually. This is going to be just a longer video. I guess I could break it up. I usually do the 10-minute videos for TikTok. But, yeah, I decided to say F that so I can film it on my regular camera. But, you know what I mean? Forgive yourself. You have no control. There's no such thing as a missed opportunity. Because we are given exactly the experiences at the exact time we need them for our karmic journey and for the journey of awakening. They're going to help us to observe and learn lessons. So if you ever look back on something like, man, I really missed that, man. If I put $500 in the stock market, man, with Bitcoin right when it started, man, I'd be a millionaire or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's not a missed opportunity. It happened exactly how it happened. Here's a good one for you. You apply to this job that you think is just going to be the awesomest job. It pays a lot. You're like, yo, that job, oh, I need that job. I think I'm going to get it. Yeah, yeah. And you get real super pumped up about it. You're getting attached to it, attached to the idea of it. But you don't get it. And you end up having to take this other job you think is shitty. And you're like, and you always look back. I'm like, man, if I just got that one job that one time, you were never going to get that one job that one time. Never going to get it because it's not meant to happen. Whatever happens is meant to happen because it happens. And it's part of your experience. That shitty job. I look back at some of my jobs. It's crazy how it works. I look back at some of my jobs that I thought I hated the most. I hated a lot of my jobs because I didn't stay present. I didn't even know about staying present. And I was projecting myself outwards, right? So if we have shitty jobs, a lot of the time, there's lessons to be learned. If we're getting triggered by stuff constantly, we have anxiety or stress from a job or a certain person who's hateful or negative at our job, it stresses us out. And that's a lesson to learn. That's a lesson I had to learn. They had to do it over and over at all my jobs to stress me out because I got too worked up about whatever they were doing or saying. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. You gotta let it all go. You gotta let it all go. Forgive yourself. There's no missed opportunity. There's nothing to even be like, oh, I should have got this or this. No, never. You're never gonna get it. Just let it go. That's all. That's easier said than done. This is all a process. Every day, I have to remind myself. Stay present constantly. Stop thinking. Focus on your breath. Slow down your breath. Just take it all in. Just observe. Be the observer. That's all there is to do. Try to eat some fruit. Yeah, that'll help. Try to. You know, the parasites are extremely powerful too. They're very powerful to be able to control us to eat the negative foods. It's wild, man. It's wild. Remember, that theory at the beginning was just a theory. Probably completely wrong. Who cares? Just thought it was an interesting connection. Thank you guys for joining me in this moment. Remember to just stay present as much as you can. Just always come back to the breath. Just observe. You don't need to label anything. You don't need to think of anything. Don't need to do it. That's just blocking us from channeling God's divine, eternal love. That's what it's doing. And every day is a practice. Every day. That's all you got to do. That's basically all there is to do in life. When Ram Dass says, if all you did, I'll leave you with this one. It's a good one. If all you did the rest of your life was do mantra, you'd be all set. You're good. That's it. Because when you do mantra, you're staying present. I've done a lot of mantra, you know what I mean? There's a lot of them out there. There's easy ones, there's one-word ones, there's ones that are short. You know, you study them, you find what resonates with you. You know what I mean? Try them out, try different ones out. Maybe one won't work for you. You do one and you're just not feeling it, and you're like, no, I don't even like saying this. So it's like, don't do it. Do a different one. I like Om Mani Padme Hum. That's a good one. Check out that. They have videos on YouTube of like the chants. Just keep saying it over and over and over and over as long as you, forever basically. You're trying to stay present. You know what I mean? That's the idea. So mantras are a great tool and journey to stay present until you don't need them, right? You take the thorn out with the thorn and then you throw them both away, right? So take care of yourself. Relax. No matter where you are or what you're doing, just relax. Wherever you're listening to this, just relax. That's it. Just remind yourself, all right, just relax. Everything's exactly where it's going to be. Everything's going to happen exactly how it's supposed to happen. All I have to do is stay present and just keep purifying the temple at the pace I can handle it and balance myself. That's not a race. It's not a race to do anything. Everything's happening in divine timing, right? And remember, guys, if you're trying to create something, trying to create videos, don't care. Just don't care what anyone thinks of anything. Don't even remember. You don't care what the outcome is, so you don't care if there's negative or positive opinions. You're doing it because you feel called to do it, and you do it, and they don't care about the result. It's fine. Just do it. Okay, you got to stop caring. That's one of the ultimate prisons. Are worrying about the opinions of others. That's one of the most powerful prisons. Because we're always just going to do stuff to please other people. And we won't be able to see the truth especially when it is often and almost always marginalized, because our dependency on certain things, emotional and social and cultural systems, is so strong. Right? So it's a wild, wild web, man. You know what I mean? You can let it come out, you can let it put itself together, and you go back to staying present. That's what I try to do. It just comes to me. Also, I forgot to mention, you guys, if you guys are interested, I have a Substack where I wrote a good handful of articles, mainly when I was on my grape fast, funny enough, because I felt like an arrow on my grape fast. And so if you want to check them out, they're on detoxification, the spiritual path, purification, rebuilding the temple is one of my articles. What is regenerative detoxification, if you're not familiar with it, if you're not familiar with the fruit diet and why we need to eat it and why it's the diet for the human species. If you want to know more about purification in terms of what diet and why and how it works, definitely check out Dr. Morse, drmorse.tv, drmorse.tv. He's got endless videos that'll give you the proper understanding of how the human body works and why we need to eat fruit and we're frugivores and how it works. He's coming out with a frugivore book detailing this in detail. And he's got the cases. You can't argue with him unless you're just choosing to be ignorant, because he's got the cases. He's had like thousands of cases on protocol of fruit, on grapes, on water, fasting, on the herbs. Get rid of it all. That's how the body works. That's how the lymphatic system works. You got to learn about the lymphatic system. It's probably the most important system in our body, because it's the elimination system, which we're supposed to be using to get acids out. But everybody's just clogged up because we got these moon sites, the moon parasites, telling us to eat garbage food that suppresses our consciousness and destroys our physical form. How much can we cram into one video? I got one more for you. Why don't any celebrities die of cancer when it is easily and widely known by a lot of people, everybody who is ready to hear it, that raw fruits and vegetables can heal anything? Well, it's probably because if you have someone like Steve Jobs healing himself of cancer with grapes, if you succeeded, let's say, this is just a theory, or any celebrity that dies with cancer, they're rich, they're famous, or powerful, they still like fall right to the same sword. Because if you have someone high profile, even though they're mostly used as false idols, a waste of your energy and a good programming tool, they still let them fall. Because if you have someone who actually heals himself of something serious with raw fruits and vegetables and herbs, then that's going to be bad news for Big Pharma, right? And the medical, they could lose business if you have someone like Steve Jobs healing his cancer on grapes. You know what I mean? They're pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful tool they have. We'll see if this video gets censored from YouTube or not. Anyway, peace and love.